Oxford United have won their first game of the League One campaign. The way that we went about the game generally was really professional. It was a much better performance, and I think finally we sort of found our way for Oxford United, and the season's now started. We can sort of kickstart on this season and sort of forget about some of the performances. Some of the performances in recent games, I'm not going to dwell on them too much, were abysmal. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today is the day that we can finally say that Oxford United have won their first game of the League One campaign of this season. It's taken such a long time. I say it's such a long time, it's actually only 3 games in. I'm making it sound like it's more than that, but it's just felt so much longer because when you lose, and it might just be for me, but when you lose, the week in between the games you've lost and the next one just feels so long. And the game between Lincoln and Sunderland felt so long because we got beaten by Lincoln, and then when we got beaten by Sunderland, it went even longer to the Accrington game, and it just sort of dragged on the week. But it's all been worth it because we've come out with a 4-1 victory. But I think, I sound 4-1, it sounds like we battered them. And I think for areas of the game, I think we did. I think the end of the game, we definitely got the better of Accrington. But first of all, like I do a lot of the time, I'll speak a little bit about Accrington. I'll speak a little bit about how I feel about Accrington and how their performance was. Because I understand there are times, and there has been many times where Accrington fans have come in the podcast and spoken about it on the podcast comments and things like that. Spoke about their thoughts on the game. So I am going to sort of speak about the opposition's performance. Not a lot. I understand this is an Oxford United match review. But it's an Oxford United versus Accrington Stanley match review as well. So it's definitely fair that we discuss both ends. I guess both ends of the stick, to be honest. So let's crack on with Accrington. Let's crack on the preview. Now, I'm not going to lie. The game has literally just finished. I've made no notes. I've cracked straight on with this because I want to get this recorded so I can edit it and get it up tomorrow morning. So Sunday morning. Hopefully that's okay with everybody. Apologies, not the same day, but that just isn't going to be possible at the moment. But I'm definitely going to get it done now. This is a raw reaction, straight out after how I feel. I might, I don't want to ramble on too much. I'm going to crack straight on with it. First of all, though, if you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, thank you so much for the recent support on that as well. I said if we can hit 78 or 79 subscribers before this episode, we're on 81, so we've smashed it. We've gone past the 80 mark, which is unbelievable. If we can get to 83 subscribers, by the time we next do an episode of the podcast, that would be fantastic. I don't know when that's going to be, but it could be midweek, could be the preview, which is obviously midweek or in the week. That would be fantastic. 83 subscribers would be unbelievable. Leave a like on this episode of the podcast as well. That'd be much appreciated. Comment your thoughts on the game. I always want to hear from you. Follow the Twitter account as well, at Young Fan Podcast on Twitter. I'll be speaking about situations with the game. I'll be speaking about new episodes of the podcast and when they'll be coming up as well. That'll be all notified on there, so you never miss an episode of the podcast. So same if you turn your notifications on here on the Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel, and on Twitter as well. We are just at the Young Fan Podcast on Instagram. At the Young Fan Podcast on there. Give that a follow as well, and we'll be notifying you every time we upload an episode of the podcast. And also, it's a great way you can send messages in, of course, DMing me on there about the game and the Oxford United and the world of football and things like that as well. I've actually had people message me today as well, speaking about this game, which has been fantastic to have sort of a conversation about it. That's what I want to do. I want to have a conversation about football, and it's fantastic that I'm being allowed to do that with the podcast. So that is great. Let's crack on with Accrington Stanley, though, and their performance against Oxford United today before we sort of discuss Oxford and my thoughts on the game. I thought Accrington played okay. I'm not sure how to compare an Accrington performance, but obviously I understand in the preview we did discuss that it was a time to change, and I did sort of change last minute the name of the podcast of that episode because it is time to change. It was a point that we had to change our form. And we certainly did do that, but I think I can't really compare a performance from Accrington. Obviously, like I said earlier, I mean, they beat Peterborough 2-0, which obviously was a good result for them. They got beaten by Burton 2-1. And then they come into our game and they've just been beaten 4-1. And I feel like the performance, or the score, doesn't completely reflect their performance. They definitely didn't get beaten like a 4-1 thumping like the score made out. And that's me being completely honest. I also don't think Accrington played extremely well. I don't think there were many times, and there is one instance, not even one instance, I guess one situation that happened on a regular basis that caused us. But other than that, they didn't really harm us too much during the game. But it is a very significant thing that Accrington kept doing, and I give full credit for, and that is balls into the box. Whether that's a set piece, whether that's a set piece as in, just generally set pieces, but that's a free kick. Whether that's corners, every single ball in the box, whether it's from the halfway line when they thump it in, and that isn't just because they've got big lads, because they do, but it isn't just because of that as well. But we've got some big lads as well. Rob Atkinson is not a small guy, nor's Elliot Moore, nor's Sean Clare, to be honest with you, and Sam Long can head a ball. So, and I've mentioned set pieces so many times on the podcast, and it's very different and it's a very positive one, and I'm always going to make it positive when we win a game. But we need to sort that set-piece situation out. But we scored 4 goals, which is fantastic. But we need to sort that out as well, because every time there's a corner, we're on red alert. Every time there's a ball going into the box, we're in red alert, and there is a panic. There is a severe panic when those happen, because you just feel like we're going to concede. But other than that, I generally do think that we had a really, really good performance. I think Accrington knew the more and more the game went on, that if they got a corner, if they put the ball into the box, they were going to cause problems. And I think that's what they did. Obviously, that's really where the goal came. Obviously, they put the ball in the box, a bit of controversy with the penalty. Simon Eastwood came out to punch it. He didn't punch the ball. He missed the ball completely. And, there's a frustration at the time when it happened and stuff like that. It's not a penalty, it's a penalty, this and that. But, it is a penalty. The ref didn't originally give it. He gave a foul. I think it was to the opposite, to Accrington in the end, and he then went over to the linesman. It was a lot of sort of screaming and shouting from Accrington players. They wanted the penalty, and they got the penalty after the linesman confirmed that decision. And then obviously Simon Eastwood sort of had to sort of recover from his own mistake that led to the penalty, and he couldn't do that, and it's 1-1. I'll speak about the first goal as well. I think. We ran down the left-hand side. I think it was Matty Taylor that held at the ball quite well, cut into Dan Adjie, then Dan Adjie cut it back, missed by Rob Hall, and then it was put in by James Henry in the end. So I do think that the game was very, very good. I thought the way that we went about the game generally was really, really professional. I thought it was a much better performance. And I think finally we've sort of found our way for Oxford United, and the season's now started. We can sort of kickstart on this season now, and sort of forget about some of the performances. Some of the performances in recent games, I'm not going to dwell on them too much, were abysmal, but today was a different level, and it's the confidence thing as well. We have for too many games lacked confidence, and it's as simple as that. For too many games we've sort of resorted to a direct way of football that hasn't worked, and you can go back on the preview and look at the lineup that I sort of predicted that Kyle Robinson would select, and it's absolutely nothing like what he did select. He went back to the 4-3-3. I said he was going to go back to the 4-3-3. I haven't actually got the notes up to what I said about it, but I did say that if he went back to the 4-3-3, it's actually quite similar. The only thing I think I would say was that Coop would come in, and he didn't. It was actually Robbie Orr that came in. And I also said if Brannigan didn't play, Marcus McGuane would play. Marcus McGuane didn't even get on the pitch. It was actually Anthony Ford that played. Again, I think that's quality team selection. Absolutely quality team selection from Carl Robinson, because, I did put Marcus McGuane in, and a lot of people confused. In fact, someone actually messaged me, full positive. We were chatting about it, and he was like, I think, I can't remember what it was. I think it was, someone should start, and I put, it was something like Anthony Ford is playing, I think, and he was like Marcus McGuane should play, or it would be interesting why Marcus McGuane isn't playing, something like that. And I said, I understand that, and to be honest with you, if it was down to a team selection of complete sort of who do we play as centre midfielder, we're looking at the bench, Marcus McGuane, you're on. But actually, what Carvinson's done so well is he's actually looked at each individual player that can play in that position and gone, Marcus, you were horrific against Lincoln. You got dropped against Sunderland. Clearly, maybe there's something going on there. Maybe, who do you pick now? He didn't. Maybe you could have brought him back in for Sunderland. He didn't. After Sunderland being dropped for Sunderland, he's proved his point that he wasn't good against Lincoln. But Anthony Ford today was top quality. Anthony Ford today was absolutely fantastic, and a lot of people were going to sort of have underrated him. I think I'm one as well. But Anthony Ford today was different level. I thought, let's say different level, making him sound like Paul Scholes in the middle, but he was. What he did so well was he got the ball and he looked up and he found a pass, which is what Marcus Mulcahy didn't do. We didn't get hold of the midfield when he was playing in there. Last week we had a midfield of Brannigan, Kelly, and so we had a compact midfield, didn't we? Because we played the 4-1-2-1-2, so we had Sykes in there as well, and sort of Henry in there. It was just so packed, and I understand why Cobberson wanted to do that. He wanted to pack out the midfield. I understand that reason. It happens at Sunday League. It's happened for the team I play for. On a Sunday League level, it's you put the ball, you put as many. If you want to sort of compact that midfield, you play a 5 in the middle. Sort of Corumson tried to do that against Sunderland. He played with Kelly being the 1, Brannigan being the 2. He didn't play Marcus Mulcahy, obviously he played Sykes being the 3. Sort of Henry, and then sort of Osai coming low. So it was technically a 4 in midfield against Sunderland, I guess. But with Osai that came quite deep at times to hold up the ball and things like that. But I say that again, 5 people in midfield is a way to pack out the midfield. But what we did today was we did pretty much the opposite. We actually let our players dictate the midfield the way we wanted to play, and that's what Anthony Ford did so well. He could pick the ball up in midfield, and he can look up and put a pass out wide, put a through ball in, or even what Kelly did and what Kelly struggled in the first half. And I was saying to the people I was watching it with, Kelly was poor in the first half. And I'll do my player ratings in the minute. Again, like I said, I haven't noted anything, so I'm going to literally off the top of my head give my honest sort of player ratings. So, I might look back at this when I'm editing it tonight or tomorrow morning before it goes up tomorrow. I might be editing thinking, what was I saying there? Jesus, that is not a great player rating, but I'm going to try my best to. But I think when I am doing the player ratings, Kelly, the first half performance was poor. And I think, I don't know whether or not he'll speak about whether he's, was speaking to the media. I don't know. That's not the point. But I guess the point is, I think whether or not he'll admit it or not, his performance in midfield in the first half was simply not good enough. What Gorin did so well, and I was saying how much we missed Gorin. And I've said that against Sunderland. I said that against Lincoln. We do miss Gorin. And in the second half, when we sort of found the confidence and found the way we wanted to play, Kelly sort of came out of his shell a little bit and started playing football, started passing very positively as well. He held at the ball, sat in front of the defence very well, and could sort of spring it into areas across the pitch and even do the classic Gorin turn where you get ball to feet, you look around, is anyone available, pass it back out to Rob Atkinson, to your centre-halves, and then they can either distribute it to the fullbacks, back to the goalkeeper, or find a pass from there, or the Rob Atkinson drive that we all know and love where he just runs down up the pitch and works so well for Rob Atkinson, which I think I only saw once today actually, but I thought, Anthony Ford had a fantastic game, and I think that was really warranted his team selection. I also do think that the performance of Robbie Orr today was really, really good. And it was a controversial team selection going back to the 4-3-3 formation, putting 2 players in that I think a lot of people maybe wouldn't have predicted would go in, and 3 if you count Dan Adjei as well. 3 people that have come in due to either not being the opportunity and having a good game in midweek against Watford, or 2 weeks ago now in midweek, and I think I'm guessing performances in the training ground. Yeah, there's bits to it. Sam Long coming in at left back because Josh Rove was injured. Sykes obviously ill. He's been tested negative for coronavirus. It's just an illness. And obviously Brannigan wasn't in today. So 2 midfielders, Brannigan and Sykes weren't available. So Anthony Ford sort of gets that option to come in midfield. Robbie Orr wasn't could come in because Sykes wasn't available. So, there's a bit of luck to the team selection, but I wouldn't really class it as luck, to be honest. I class it as a good performance warranted with a start today, because I think they deserve that. I thought when I saw Robbie Orr on the pitch on sort of the lineup before the game on Twitter and on social media, I was really, really happy with that selection, because he deserves it. He had a fantastic game against Watford, so did Anthony Ford, and they deserve that. They really, really do deserve that. So, I'm really, really happy with the team selection. Different team selection, but very happy with it. Really, really warranted. I mean, a brief sort of analysis on the game, sort of a brief sort of way of the description of the game, how the game went. We went 1-0 up. Obviously, then the Eastwood incident gave them an equaliser with the penalty. We then got very fortunate with our second goal, and I'll put my hands up and say that was very fortunate. And Accrington fans are probably frustrated. We haven't said that yet, but it was. Joel Cooper, good run to be fair, nice dribbling shot. Saved by the goalkeeper, and it sort of parries off the goalkeeper and off the back of the defender's leg, sort of with a bit of Cameron Brannigan thing there as well. He was around that area and goes into the back of the net. It's sheer luck, but to be honest with you, this season we have not got a single piece of luck. I don't know whether Accrington have had any luck this season. I would say justice, but I don't think it is justice, to be honest. I think that was a penalty from Simon Eastwood. It's not like it was a poor decision or anything like that. It was a penalty. So I wouldn't say it's justice, but it was only 2 minutes after that incident. And I thought it was really much deserved that goal. We sort of had done very well in that game. Hadn't done very much recently in that spell, but we definitely deserved to get the 2-1 lead sort of across the game. We should have scored a few more, and it was 2-1 at that point. And then I think the floodgates opened. They had a red card from an Accrington player. Again, they went over to the linesman to confirm that decision. There's a bit of a scuffle, scramble in the box. Tempers were flying everywhere. Understandably, Accrington not very happy. Red card then gets shown. I don't know who it was. I never recognise the face, but I don't know whether it was a centre half. He looked like a centre half. Whether or not he is, apologies, Accrington. If he's not a centre half, he could be a centre forward. He could be a winger. But to me, he looked like a centre half in that defensive back role. But no, I thought tempers were a bit up in the air with Accrington there. They weren't very happy with that at all. And then the floodgates sort of opened. The third goal then came through Matty Taylor. Fantastic ball in from Henry, from literally the byline, Portsmouth-esque, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know, from the away game last season with Portsmouth, the ball into the box, the header in from Matty Taylor. Similar to really, Henry sort of on the touchline, same position, same way shooting. The lovely swinging ball from James Henry. This time, not further away from James Henry, which makes it even more impressive. The way he lifted that ball over, comes in over the top, and it's just a beautiful control from Taylor and a smashing volley home. And it's 3-1. You think game over. And then it is game over with the fourth goal because it comes over. Good piece of dribbling from... Actually, I don't even remember how really the goal came in. I think it was a cross into the box or something like that, and sort of Taylor sort of scrambled it in, and it just went over the line. I'm not sure how that went, how that really started off, to be honest. I do know that, at that point I was just celebrating the fact that, we were 3-1 up and about to be 4-1 up. That was the main thing, but it came in, I think, from the left-hand side, and then obviously Taylor sort of, not slotted it home, because it didn't really, just only cross the goal line, but I don't care how it goes in. And we make it 4-1. I thought their goalkeeper didn't have a great game, and in our goal, he scored. The wind obviously didn't help, and nor did the bounce. But Eastwood with a beautiful goal kick right over the top, and then he bounced over the goalkeeper's head from Accrington. So he didn't have a great game, and at times it looked like it was going to go through him. So I thought Accrington played okay, but I think Oxford in the end played much better and deserved the 3 points. I think Accrington are going to be safe this season. I don't think that'll be a problem. There were times where I thought Accrington, they play a very different type of football than Oxford. We keep it on the floor. We play a possession-based game of football, very fluid. Very sort of not tiki-taka-esque, but very on the deck, quick passing, dictating that tempo, playing high tempo, and sort of in that sort of way. And sort of that's what we sort of tried to do today so many times. That's what we tried to do on a real regular occasion, Oxford United, and it worked in the end. Whereas Accrington played a very sort of, they've got some big lads, it's a ball over the top and caused problems, and they did. There were times where the balls did come in from set pieces and things like that, and the big man and the big men, should I say, there were multiple occasions where we were poor at set pieces, and we had a very good performance today, and I don't want to take that away from it. I want to be positive, and I am positive. I'm so happy and relieved. And when that goal went in, the relief, when I shouted was just unexplainable how much of a relief it was when we scored all the goals, to be honest. So I think that's the main thing. But, we do need to practice set pieces. It is very poor. Every time we play a physical side, which is quite often in this level, sort of balls come into the box and we can't deal with it. Which I think is also, and it's a weird sort of analysis to look at it, because I'm going to quickly get on the player ratings. I'm rambling on. But every time, sort of the reason why sometimes we struggle in this division is because we play our brand of football, which is very much possession based and very much keep it on the deck and playing that way of football. Which is sometimes the reason why we don't win. And then when we play some, higher end teams, we do sort of play them off the park a little bit because we are very good at what we do. We just struggle doing it against teams that are trying to stop us. So when we play against the West Hams, it's a West Ham team with a few rotation players. They had some pretty decent players last year playing in the game. We beat them 4-0. We played our game, possession based football, kept it on the deck and outplayed them. QPR in a pre-season friendly, level above. We beat them. Was it 2-0, 2 or 1-0, 2-1? I can't even remember. We beat them. We kept it on the deck. We played possession football. We beat them our own game. And there's been times this season where Lincoln away. You compare Lincoln to West Ham. We even gave Man City a game playing our way of football. We lost 3-1, but we still gave them a game. We scored a goal using it. And then we play against the more physical sides. We do tend to struggle a little bit more because of those set-piece situations and because we don't really train in that way. We train how we play, obviously, but there are times where teams come against us and we are a little bit confused. Wickham was a really good example of that in the playoff final. We sort of looked a little bit dazed and confused at times, and when they put a ball in the box, we were very, very poor and conceded a goal from a set piece. They put a ball over the top to concede when we gave away the penalty against Wickham as well. So there are times where it is frustrating, but I'm not going to ramble on. We're going to crack on with the player ratings that I haven't prepared. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. But really happy about the performance. Let's crack on with the player ratings, and let's start with Simon Eastwood in goal, and I'm going to give Simon Eastwood... I'm going to give him a 6 today. I thought he was okay. I thought he was average. I thought there were some decent saves. He tipped it over the bar a few times. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I've got nothing written down. So he tipped it over well. I thought set pieces, other than the two that he nearly, I was going to say something I shouldn't have done then, messed up. I think was the one that, was a bit frustrating. But I think with the ones he did deal with, he tipped it over the bar really well, which is good. Give him a 6. He was average today. He gave away a silly penalty, but if we drew the game 1-1, I probably would have given him a 4 or a 5. I'm not gonna lie, but we won the game, so I'm in good spirit. And I know that's not how you should really do player ratings. That's why I'm not a professional journalist and sort of match analyst of a football match, because if our team win, I'm gonna give everyone good ratings. I'm not gonna try and do that, but I think he's a 6 today. He was not a bad performance from Simon Eastwood. I thought he caught the ball well. At times he didn't look a liability. Set pieces though, he did give away a penalty, but it doesn't really matter because we won the game 4-1. Let's go with right back Sean Clare. Then I was really impressed with Sean Clare today. Really impressed with him. He was powerful. He caused problems at right back today, which is what we haven't seen from him. We haven't seen from Sam Long when we played there at right back. And I'm not going to talk about fullbacks for too long because I speak about it for too long all the time. But I thought Sean Clare had a really good performance today. He had a knock against Sunderland, which no one knew about, and nor did apparently Carl Robinson, which is why I was a little bit frustrated at him. We've heard. But I thought Sean Clare was really, really good today. I thought he was powerful. I thought he really did cause problems. He passed the ball quite well. Sort of when he was either going, into the play in the centre, or even when he was going down line, I thought it was really good. Like I said there, I thought when he was a one-on-one defending, I thought he was really, really strong. Used his body well. Really happy with him today. So I'm going to give him a 7, Sean Clare. Really solid performance from him. Really, really impressed from Sean Clare. Centre backs. Then we're gonna go. We'll go with Elliot Moore at centre back. Centre back next. We'll go with probably about. I'll give Elliot Moore. Probably about. I'll give him a 7 today. I thought he was pretty decent. I was quite happy with Elliot Moore's performance. I think he was very, very solid defensively. I was quite impressed with him. Not much to say other than that. Really, did quite well in the air when it wasn't from a set piece, and was quite defensively solid. So a 7 out of 10 for Elliot Moore, or a 6. I can't remember what I said now. That's because I'm completely lost it. I'm gonna give him a 7. I'll give him a 7 for Elliot Moore. His centre back partnership partner then, Rob Atkinson. I'm gonna give him a 7 today as well. 7's all round so far for the back line. I thought he was very, very good. I thought there were a few times where he drove in quite well. He was quite solid defensively. Impressed with Rob Atkinson today. In the area was very good as well, and nearly scored as well from a corner as well. Cleared off the line, but really happy with Rob Atkinson today. Much better performance from him in the league. Left back was Sam Long. Thought he did okay. Wasn't brilliant, but decent. Very, very solid. Very, very helpful to have a player like Sam Long that can basically fit in anywhere. And really, 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 really happy with Sam Long. Not unbelievable, but that's not what you get with Sam Long. You get a solid out-and-out performance from him. And I thought he did really, really well today. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. There were times where I looked a little bit out of his depth, but then he sort of comes back and does something unbelievable. So that's Sam Long, 6 out of 10 for Sam Long. Midfield, Kelly, if I was going to judge his first half, I'd probably give him a 3. But in general, 4, 3 is a bit harsh. Probably then in the end, probably give him a 6. I thought he was okay. I thought he passed the ball well. I think his attacking positivity was really, really good. Happy with Liam Kay today. Other midfielders were... That's why you plan ahead. The other midfielders for today's game was... I've forgotten Henry, and I give Henry an 8 today. I thought Henry was really, really good. I thought he scored the first goal, but I thought generally he looked much better today. Having the captain's armband, really impressed with him, and really, really, just really liked to see him sort of back at his best, Henry, today. So give him an 8 actually with the assist. I forgot about that. 8 out of 10 for the assist today. And the goal, of course, and the very good performance. The other midfielder was today... Anthony Ford. How could I forget Anthony Ford's great performance? I give him a 7 today. Really, really happy with him. 7 out of 10 for Anthony Ford. Like I've already sort of explained him. I'm not going to ramble on. Really, really impressed with Anthony Ford. A well-deserved start and a very, very warranted game. He's done Coronson proud with that selection. And obviously the front three then. So we'll start with Robbie Orr. Really impressed with Rob Orr today. Really impressed with Rob Orr. So happy he got that selection option and got his selection picked well. There was he sort of took it on his stride, that the fact he was starting today. Really, really impressed with him. He drove well. He was positive as well. He put some good ball in the box. Could have scored as well. Really, really happy with him. I'm going to give Robbie Orr a 7 out of 10 today. Whoever's going to come in, which is probably going to be Sykes, who's sort of his main issue, and Cooper as well, sort of selection, rivalries in there. He's really given himself a good chance to solidify himself in that attack, because I was really impressed with him today. Striker, Matty Taylor, again, first half, I probably have to give him a 5 because he wasn't great. He probably should have scored. He was low on confidence, but when he took that volley, oh boy, did that player rating go up pretty high. I'm going to give Matty Taylor an 8 out of 10 today. He got 2 goals. He took his goals so well. He pressed well in the end. Really impressed with Matty Taylor today. 8 out of 10 for Matty boy. And the last player of the front three, of course, was Dan Adji, and I thought he did very, very well. He held up the ball well, very, very physical. He's not slow as well. He caused problems, draws so many fouls as well. Really impressed with Dan Adji today. Really good performance from him. A very good performance from Oxford United in general. A very, very positive review. Very, very positive match reaction. I'm very, very happy with it. We finally got 3 points on the table. 3 points at last. I'm so happy, and it makes the weekend so much better from now onwards. Thank you very much for listening to this match preview. Thank you very much for listening to the Young Fan Podcast. Remember, go back and look at the social media plugs earlier in the episode of the podcast as well, so you can follow there as well. That would be much appreciated. All will be in links in the description as well below. This should be coming out Sunday morning or Sunday sort of this should be midday on Sunday at the latest, maybe a little bit later. The more I speak, the more I'm delaying it. I'm going to make it sure it comes out as quickly as I can tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for the continuous support on the podcast. It's been absolutely fantastic. The journey we're on as a podcast is just going so well. And that's all down to you listening as well. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And I'll just see you later.